Hello everyone, I'm Marco del Pivo and welcome back in my channel. Today I want to analyze with you some situation that happens to me during this week. I played a little bit Domain Zoo, as you can see from the decklist on my left, and happens some strange keeper Mulligan that I also put a survey in the Instagram. If you don't follow me in the Instagram, I'll leave you the link in the comment. And yeah, it happens so many different answers from you, so I try to answer with my point of view. So I try also to not want to say that I'm 100% sure about this answer. I'm just here to talk and discuss, because from this little bit strange situation, everybody can improve his own game. So let's start with the first one. The first one was this kind of end where we are on the play, we are against some matchup that we don't know, so it was a keep or mulligan situation. In this spot we know that we have Flooded Strand as the only land. As you can see, we have Cavo, we have Xian, so mainly we have the combo, and we have two little bit interaction early game. Before saying my answer, I show you what you guys said. Okay, the 60% of you keep this end and the 40% of you just mulligan. From my point of view, this end is a keep because I'm on the play with the Flooded Strand. I can find my both surveillance to see if I want to find and I need to find the second land. But on the other side, I also have a little bit of time to find it. So mainly, as you can see, if our opponent play aggro, we have a lightning bolt, or if our opponent plays some strange control deck or a slow deck, we have also stubborn denial to interact with him. So mainly based on their turn one, I will fetch or not. So I will keep it because this end have everything that I need. So mainly is the combo, the early interaction against the aggro deck, and some counterspell, if you want to call like this, or just negate if can happen. So my decision was to keep, and my only thought part was to surveil or not. My opponent was mainly Boros. I found it after I played the land that my opponent was Boros, and he played Ragavan turn 1. It's funny because after Ragavan turn 1, I decided to not fetching end of turn. Sure guys, I literally don't know if it's correct or not. I just don't fetch because I don't want, I think just maybe I taking out one land could be worse for me. I don't know the percentage, and I was like, okay, I will not fetch, pass. If I draw the land, play Shion and win the game against Boros, or close enough to win the game. On the other side, if I don't draw land, I can just bolt in turn. So it was fine, and I did reveal that I draw land. Sorry guys for the spoiler, but I drew Arena of Glory for attacking with Shion, and everything worked correctly. But yeah, for me it was a keep for that reason, because I can take enough time to see the land. I know that if I don't see my second land in the first 3 turns, I drop the game because I literally can't play nothing. But on the other side, if I draw the land in the first 3 turns or surveil plus 3 card, I know that my win rate was way higher than normal. So I prefer to gambling this kind of keep for my win rate. That's the reason why I keep this. Let's go with the second one. The second one was a clearly strange situation. This is the second hand. The second hand was against Boros. We know the matchup, I know our opponent, and our opponent knows ours. So mainly, I suppose that if I'm in the Boros situation, I try to mulligan for an end that can deal with Shion plus Leyline, or I can put enough pressure to stop him to do his own stuff. So from my side, instead I am on the play, and I know guys that this end is so good. That's why I see that 80% of you keep this end, that only the 20% mulligan, and honestly I'm in the 20% also this time, and in the lowest part. I mulligan this end for this reason. Try to follow me in the process. We know that it's Boros. I want to play Wooded Footil turn 1. If we play, if it's the classic play where you go Ragavan, Ocelot, or Guide of Soul, I want to answer to him. But which card I want to use to answer him? So mainly my thought is, if you play Ragavan or whatever, I can go or Steam Vent for the Lightning Bolt or the Survey, the Thundering Fall. I can accept the Thundering Fall for finding and digging for one more card, but in our turn I need to answer to the creature. So the reason is, with the second fetch, I try to bring in Data Triome for Leyline Binding. Or if I play on the Steam Vents in the first turn for answer to the Ragavan, I need to play Temple Garden for just respect their own 2-1 drop that can happen. So if you go Ragavan, for example, turn 1, and then you go for Guide of Soul Ocelot, probably I need to fetch for a Temple Garden, binding a pieces, and then fledge the other one. Okay, I know that we resolved the board. The board is completely clear for both parts. The main problem is now. So the problem is now for me because I know that I have Fledge as a backup. I still don't have all the fifth card in the graveyard, but also from the other side, my opponent can have more gas than me. If you have Trap and Charm, I can exile my own graveyard in response to the fifth card, and I still don't have any plan. Or at least if you have Season Pyromancer, another Fledge, or whatever it could be, it will be for sure for me more fast than I am. So Tribal Flame is just removal if I play on turn 2, but in this kind of hand we see that our mana base can be pretty clunky. I still don't have Domain if I need to play Binding on turn 2 because I need to fetch for Temple Garden, and I need to fetch for Blood Crypt if I want a Domain. So the situation is I imagine to be at 11 life at some point for play on curve to answer to him, but I need to answer to the correct card because if I use badly line binding, I can easily die to bombardment or whatever it could be. This is why I prefer to Mulligan. The second reason mainly for Mulligan for me, and now I show you the deck list, is that after turn 1 or after the keep, I feel that Ragavan, Consign to Memory, Stubborn Denial, Lightning Bolt, Tribal Flame, Lion of the Guildpack, those are 18 cards at least, plus maybe other 3 that we already have in our hand. So there are kindly 21 cards that we really don't want to see after turn 1. We try to play our game, we need Kavu, we need Fable to maximize our looting part. That's the reason of my Mulligan. I don't like to dig a lot for finding Kavu and Fable when this kind of deck can mulligan to 6, 5 or at least 4. I know that is impossible to win with that or close to impossible, but against Boros in the specific matchup I can mulligan to 6 or to 5 to finding a better end for me, meaning early domain, Shion and Kavu plus the line of the guild pack and one or removal. I don't need obviously all of them because at least we could have the enough. But on the other side, if I open 4 land, Shion and Gilpak, I instantly keep this end because that combo that we have provided us to give more time that our opponent can have. So that's the reason of my Mulligan. I try to evaluate my out during the game that I can have in the first 3 turns, and if I don't see those 7 card early game, I really don't like my hand, and I try to just put everything in the graveyard, slam Tribal Flame to another creature just for putting Flames in the field, and if we answer to it, we are pretty behind. That's the reason of my Mulligan. As I said, it's not 100% sure this Mulligan, but I think is for me fine because, as I said, I don't have a plan. I like to have a plan against Boros, especially when I know the matchup. And now we talk the last one that I put in the Instagram this morning. You will see the video on Friday, but today is Tuesday for me, sorry. And this is another on the play situation, game 1, and no opponent. So the main problem is a lot of people vote keep. I see that most of this keep for me is just because people don't know the mana base. So one thing that I want to be sure enough when you play Zoo or Domain Zoo is that you really have to know the land that you play and the sequence that you can have. Take your 1 minute, 2 minutes during the keep for thinking about keep or mulligan. Otherwise, it could be a mess for you, or you could slow the game enough to misplay a little bit. So one thing that I do with the people that I coach is to Okay, envelop your hand and try to see which fetch take what. This is something that Mengucci told me when I play 4 color rhinos the first time, and then zoo, and now I see that is the most important part. Take your 1 minute and decide the fetch what they take. This kind of hand, and a lot of people just answering me to the wooded footil, take the stomping ground, and take arena of glory. Okay, now we know that it's not correct because we don't have stomping ground. So I took out a little bit the 68% of the part of the keep about that, and the mulligan with the 32%. Okay, we are against matchup that we don't know. The sequencing could be two. Or fetching for Ragavan, this meaning that we need to fetch for a Sacred Foundry. Sacred Foundry meaning that we give up to green and not playing Kavu. So the reason of not fetching for Ragavan turn 1 is completely that we messed up our mana base during the play. So our first play will be Thundering Fall for sure, and Survey. The second land should be obviously Temple Garden, fetch Temple Garden for Kavu. Okay, now in this situation we see that we don't use Ragavan turn 1, so it's just like a Mulligan 2-6 depending on the matchup, but everybody knows that only against control is good enough later as a dash creature, but in the early game I want to play obviously to 1 to 2 if possible. So Ragavan turn 3 is quite slow. And the other two cards, the Arena of Glory, okay, it's fine with Pledge, but we don't have enough cards. We still don't have enough cards in the graveyard, but also the 2 Arena of Glory is quite clunky for our mana base. I say that because with the Voodoo Footil I should take Temple Garden for playing Kavu, but we don't have domain. So if we don't draw land, but we draw Shion, we draw Line, we draw whatever we draw, it will be slower than expected. So the double Arena of Glory is just a Mulligan to 6. And if I think about this with Ragavan, also Ragavan is a Mulligan, for me at least. So I prefer Mulligan this end because my mana base now is worse than expected. Obviously, if the Thundering Fold was a Steam Vents, I snap keep it because I have Ragavan turn 1, Kavu turn 2, I have the best situation to play and give up to domain. But with this end, it's hard to give up to domain, and I don't have a correct plan to go with it. So I prefer to mulligan it and finding a better end. As we say sometimes, and the state of modern right now is something like you have to find your place and find your correct end for the situation. Zoo, for example, for me need more Nat than the other, so need more Lela in Shion. Except when you know the matchup and after that your end is pretty good to have domain or play card also in late game. For example, for me, the line of the guild pack is a nice turn 4 play when my starting end give me some times to arise to play that. On the other side, if I just pass on turn 1 and pass on turn 3 or whatever, just one interaction and one creature, my turn 4 guild pack is quite bad. That's the reason about my mulligan for this end, and I think that sometimes, as I said, take 1 second more to think about your end and try to study the first 3 or 4 turn for your mana base to see if it works or not. I hope you guys appreciated this video. It's not long enough. You can listen again whenever you want. Leave me in the comment if you keep or mulligan this end, if you agree with me or not. I always open to every DM or also every kind of chat with you. I appreciate that you follow me, and we will see probably next week, or I try to bring this content weekly. I try with my play or just depending on what happens during the league. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, that I appreciate it, and see you soon.